Good evening, everyone. I know that we are already late because we started a little late and then a little bit of the presentations and the speaking things has already gone. We are on the fag end. The last subject of our new offering, what our CEO has mentioned, that's a Dtwin, that's a digital twin part of it. So before I start, and I assure you I'm not going to take much of your time. So before I start, how many of you has heard about a digital twin? Can you raise your hand? Good. So the concept of digital twin has been evolving. I see that many articles has been written on LinkedIn and some other social media. But then when I was talking with a couple of them, and I realized that most of the cases, they say that, okay, we do use a scanner, we scan it, we get the point cloud, and then we convert it into a Revit 3D model, and that's the digital twin. I'm not denying this. I'm saying that could be a good starting point, but maybe in the real scenario, that's not the real benefits of the digital twin. So digital twin is beyond to your 3D model making part of it. And that's what the Nemetschek is coming up with our new solutions called Dtwin. So in short, what the Dtwin is offering to the industry is a one cloud platform where, irrespective of what format of the file you have or your service provider has, you can bring it to them. For example, any form of point cloud that you wanted to bring it to the cloud platform. Any scanner vendors that you are using to scan the premises. You may have a Revit model, or ArchiCAD model, or a Vectorworks model, or you may not have it. You may have only drawing file, you may have a documents, any of those data that could be come into a cloud platform, and our digital twin, Dtwin, will consolidate that, integrate that, slicing and dicing the data, and giving you the appropriate information that what is going to be relevance for you. The relevance for those who are managing an asset, that how your asset is performing, what is your energy level, what is the level of the consumption is happening on the building, what is the CO2 utilization within the building, or you wanted to know what is your asset performance. You have a generator, you have an electrical equipment, how much is the usage of those which has been linked with an IoT devices. So these, in a short, I'm running very quickly so that you understand what we Dtwin, we are going to talk about it. And I have my senior colleague Marc, he is going to help me on talking on this Dtwin part of it. We are actually a filler for this presentation. My senior colleague Caesar, who is supposed to come from Munich, he falls sick and he could not come and attend this show. So we are filling his absence. So, would you like to mention anything onto this part of it?
No, I think we all discover already, especially if we are pressed by time. You all got from Eve our life cycle approach. We cover the entire life cycle, and the benefit of the digital twin is to make sure that we create a link on file, data, workflow, user management, model management, visualization management, from design down to decommissioning and deconstruction, actually.
So I'd like to talk about it a little bit into an analogy of an elephant, and it could be a very interesting that it says that, how we are looking into this elephant. So every different stakeholders will be looking this into his own perspective, viewpoint. An asset owner will be looking into it differently. A contractor will be looking into differently. An architect will be looking into differently. An OEM provider is going to look into differently. Now, how we can have a combination of all these informations together, irrespective of what platform you are, what data that you are collecting, can that be all together come as a platform-neutral cloud area where we can process this data, we can integrate this together and create a kind of digital replica of your assets. So this is something which...
If I may, NC, just on the previous one. If you don't look at those different people, construction manager, service provider, whatever, but if you take the posture of a real estate investor, you realize the interest to have a neutral repository of all data models of your asset. The day you trade your asset, the day you sell your asset, or the day you procure your asset, to have that level of information available in a due diligence of your real estate portfolio adds value, adds certainty, trust into the asset that you promote. So whoever are your customers in terms of investor building portfolio owners, digital twin is not an additional software or digital tool. Digital twin, it's an additional service for building owners, investors, property and portfolio managers.
Thank you, Mark. So this is what we have been talking about, the different phases of evolving of the digital twin. You know, how it is going in a static way from the detailed aspect to the as-built condition. When I was referring to the point cloud and converting into a 3D model file, that's basically the as-built condition, LOD 500 part of it. But that's not the real aspect. It can go beyond to that. How we can take the sensor data which has been installed into your asset, how we can get those data processed so within a one integrated platform. That's the Dtwin. We are going to talk about it. Would you like to address something on Mark, educate into that part of it? So this is where the value propositions that we can see, and I was talking about it, the data source. So our Dtwin platform, the biggest benefit is that you may say that, okay, I have an asset, I have a building which is being built maybe 30 years back, 40 years back. So there was no BIM at that time. There was no 3D model at that time. I only have a drawing file. Okay, I have the asset data. I know about what is the motors, what's electrical equipments that's been installed into my asset. Okay, now can you bring this data to your platform and then can you process it and can you help us create some sort of a value proposition on that? So we are saying you have a point cloud, you scan it, you have a point cloud, you get into our platform, it will create a kind of a 3D mesh of your asset, so that's as equivalent to your LOD 500 level model. Then you have a CAD file, you have a drawing file, you have any sort of a BMS, real estate, real-time data, sensor data that you have. You can bring everything into our digital twin platform. What digital twin will do, we'll harmonize all the data points. Once we harmonize that, we will track and filter it out, and then we process that. And once we do that, that's a better visualizations of your assets that we are going to produce. The slicing of the dicing of the data that will help you to identify the potential problems, the kind of future usage, your predictive maintenance, that's a very important part of it. So these are the benefits that you will be able to derive from our digital twin. So if you have to look into the kind of market, which are the sectors, the hospitals, buildings, the railways, the airports, the schools, these is the areas where the digital twins are going to be much more useful. So any of you who are an assets owner or who are working in association with the assets owner, this is the area that you can really look up to. Our estimate says that it is near about a $1.8 billion market right now currently on this. I don't want to go more details of it because of the time constraint, but I wanted to emphasize one aspect. It is not about your existing building or existing assets. Even if you are making your new one, you will be able to use our Dtwin for your new projects itself. So it goes from the design to constructions to operate, and you can see that the operate stage, the value propositions that's offering from our digital twin. Mark, would you like to address to this area or the previous?
Yeah, it was more on the previous one, actually. You look at every single gray box and you think sustainability, compliance on sustainability, and you relate it to what we've been discussing a little bit earlier in one of the panel, but also a little bit earlier in the opening. You want to get certified and document your entire life cycle on the certification towards LEED, BREEAM, green building, and any form of compliance. The digital twin is an amazing tool to support that.
Thank you. So just a features overview on asset management, linking the data source that I was talking about it, localization and navigation. When I was talking about it, any data, you can think of it, your GIS data. that you can bring into one platform. Your document file, your PDF file, your BMS details, your estimate data, your asset data, your 3D model, anything that you wanted to bring it into our digital twin platform, it will be possible. And that's why the AEC-EO integrations part of it, the IoT-enabled integrations part of it. When I say IoT, any form of IoT that, we are platform agnostic. We are not insisting that, okay, your IoT should be so and so manufacturing, your scanning will be so and so manufacturing company. No, you can use any of the manufacturing part of it. We will be bringing those data and we'll be able to process that. So what's the best way to kind of implement this? The best way to do it is within our own assets. So this is our Munich office, our headquarters. What we have done, we have implemented our Dtwin in that. So you can see this very small, quickly video I'll run through. You can see that once you log in, you have the entire project data that you can see it in the cloud platform. So we check into the Nemetschek building, the headquarters. Now you can see that it can be linking to that. It is leading towards where the locations of our office are. And then this is the kind of dashboard that you will be able to get. Within that dashboard, you will be able to customize that. If somebody wants to say that, okay, I wanted to integrate with my existing Power BI, it's possible. We also have a very, very exhaustive kind of a dashboard where all the information you will be able to capture it, whether it is your material type used, whether it is your element level. You can see that now we are doing it on an element level, how many walls it is there, what is the kind of buildings, floors area, slabs, how many, everything that we are able to capture, and slicing and dicing of the data, we're giving it into the dashboard. Now, let's move very quickly to the kind of an operations level. So in the operations level, what are those factors for an asset owner is going to be very essential. For example, completed work orders, overview of the work orders, what is the planned cost, what is the actual cost, all data will be able to put it into a dashboard. And very important factor is that this dashboard is customizable, because your project point of interest could be different than any other company's point of interest. So you can define as per your own point of interest. So now you can see that we have made a point cloud, we have scanned it, now we are moving it, and this is real time in the cloud. So it's not taking that much of time to process it. So for any other point cloud platform, you will take hours to process it. That's the beauty of our Dtwin, that we'll be able to process it very quickly on that. So I'm not, because of the time constraints, I'm not going more details of this video file, but I hope that you got a little idea about how our Dtwin can create a differentiator here itself. If any of you find any interest onto our Dtwin, we'll be able to address to that. My senior colleagues sitting in Germany, Jimmy, who is heading this Dtwin, and we will be able to, we also have in our Hyderabad office some of our Indian development teams also working on that, so I can even to pull this Hyderabad team for any of your Dtwin's requirement. So with that note, I'd like to thank you all for being so patient. I know that it's already been a long time that we have been talking about it. I will take only maybe a 2 minutes time, that if any of you have any questions so far, we have not addressed our question and answer sessions. So I'm just making it as a very quick round. If you really have any question and answer, we can address to that, or maybe during the networking time, we will be able to address to any of your queries. With that note, can you close these slides, please? Who's in the console? The console guys, can you? Console guys, can you close this? Yeah, please. Because I just wanted to address a little differently. I just want to close it, the video running, because we are running short of time. Okay, so Mark, would you like to make any special comment on Dtwin or the kind of advantages that we are doing it into that space?
No, I know that we are pressed by the time, so the only last comment I would make that we did not insist a lot is a level of integration of Dtwin with third-party vendors. So Dtwin is a point of convergence. Whoever would be providing data, whatever would be their format, whatever would be also the software source. Also, if we take a building like this one, when you are owning 20, 30, 50, 200 buildings, you end up having Siemens, Honeywell, Schneider, all the usual suspects installed. The Twin appears as a system of systems, irrespective of the install base that you have. You have a generic repository as a knowledge of your entire asset portfolio. So that's a big benefit of a neutral digital twin, neutral and agnostic from manufacturers.
Thank you, Marc. Thanks for this closing comment. Thank you very much to all those who have attended in this show. There is a lot more sessions, parallel sessions is going to happen. The anchor is going to talk about it. From my end, this is the end part of it, so I wanted to say thank you very much from bottom of my heart, those who have came from all the way to different places. And I'm waving my hands to those who have joined live from different parts of India and as well as out of India. Thank you very much for your patience and listening to us. Thank you.